I am so not ready for this, but who cares? Who cares? It is Saturday night. Hope everybody is doing well. Welcome back. Welcome back. Hope people are having a smashing weekend thus far. If you're living in the UK, your weekend's probably clapped and been pissed on by the weather. So, oh wells, oh wells, oh wells. But it's not all doom and gloom for United, because if you are a United fan, you've just watched your team beat Lons 3-1, and cheers. That's we'll take a sip of some of the good stuff. Living the life of a bloke with sweet tooth, and is not big up on the alcoholic beverages, But it's all good. It's all good. We're feasting well. We are feasting well, but we got uh, we got the match to talk about. We got Lons to talk about, and what happened in that game. Now, if you'd watched my stream yesterday, I said that I wasn't going to be around to watch the game. I was going to be busy at work, but I have had a little scout around the scene, having a look at what people have got to say, what the word on the street is about the game. And I've got to say, a 3-1 result, if I were to be this toxic positive person, I would sit here to switch on the stream, switch on the camera, and tell everybody we beat last season's second team or second best team in France in Ligue 1. Finished 1 point behind PSG the previous season. Imagine that, if PSG managed to actually have one of their wins be turned into a draw, they would have lost that league title. Crazy stuff. But if I was toxic positive, I would sit there and I would be bigging up this result, saying, what an amazing win. We're going to go into the Wolves game and we're just going to batter them pillar to post. Now, look, that could still happen. Let's be real. That could still happen. It's Old Trafford. It is Old Trafford. It's the first home game of the season. So, essentially speaking, who knows? We probably could turn them over 3-0. I said that I want us to go get a 3-0 against Wolves. Don't know how everybody else is feeling about that game. Monday, a week to date. Hopefully there's a lot of people feeling confident about the first game, because it's a big one. It is a big one. I mean, sure, Wolves beat whoever it was they were playing against today. I think they won their game. I think it was 3 or 4-1. I think it was 3-1. But they're also finding a little splash of form just before the league kicks off. Now, in accordance to the title, word has it that one of my takeaways from what everybody else is saying is that Rasmus Højlund had a delay on the medical side of things, not because of slow logistics, even though that is probably one of the big causes of it, but in actuality there were apparently further tests needed to be done on the player. Further tests need to be done on Rasmus. Apparently he's not fully fit. Apparently there's a concern about a potential knock or a niggle that he's got that's going to keep him out of action or starting games in the first part of the season. Now, first part of the season, that could be saying, well, he's going to be out till September time. Personally, I don't think that's going to be the case. I mean, during his presentation, he looked quite easy on his feet. Didn't look that concerning at all. So I don't think it's anything to be too fussed about. I think maybe he might be missing or absent from the first game and then he's available for the next. Maybe that might be the case. I'm not too sure. I don't know what's factual about this, about these reports or what's being said regarding Rasmus Højlund. But for those who are really, really looking forward to and got their knickers in a twist, I'm afraid your knickers, you're going to have to untie them for a little bit, because otherwise you'll end up with blue balls, right? Because, listen, he's probably not going to be available for the first match week or first two. Who knows? But that's a concern in and of itself. But then again, it's not for long. We'll still have our striker available for, I'm hoping, for extended periods of the season, because can you imagine the absolute devastation and carnage that is going to be bestowed upon this fan base if it turns out Rasmus Højlund ends up with Anthony Martial's injury record. Imagine the absolute carnage it's going to look like a scene at a 300 with the what is it, the Spartans and the Persians, was it? The Spartans and Persians? I can't remember. But there was a bloody scene where there was just freaking, it's just death everywhere. Maybe it's not going to look as tragic as that, but you get the gist of it, right? You get the gist of it. Top Reds will be absolutely in the bin, with reaction and having to deal with the fallout of said news. But let's talk about the game. Let's talk about the game. Now, I can't tell you, as comparison to everybody else out there that's actually done watch-alongs, and that sucks because I would have done a watch-along for this game had I been available. But we've got a few takeaway points. So I'm going to start with the negatives, right? We're going to start with the negatives based off of what I've seen, what I've heard people talking about, but also some of the highlights that I've seen. I'm going to start with the negatives, and they're fairly significant negatives, right? Is that Lons, as much as they had a fantastic league campaign last season, they're not really a team that should be pressing. By pressing, I don't mean like, oh, well, they're closing down on a football pitch. No, I mean pressing as though they're making making the game very, very tough for Manchester United. They should not be pressing the intensity of that game. They shouldn't be. So the game looked on the fact sheets, it looked a lot closer than perhaps it might have done watching it, live. It might have looked a bit more one-sided. I know possession-wise, it was very more in the favour of Manchester United, but Lons, with much less possession, made good on a lot of their They made good on not having as much of the possession and just being a lot more direct. Quite a few breakthroughs they've had, quite a few chances on goal. Forced Onana into action a fair few times. And by the way, I've watched the Lons goal back several times. There is absolutely no responsibility on that being Onana's fault, because we were in possession on the halfway line and there was no press. A bad pass scored the goal. The bad pass scored the goal. Now, maybe their attacker got a bit fortuitous with his chip effort. It got a bit fortuitous, but Onana, why is he going to be sat glued to his line? He just wouldn't. He wouldn't be sat on his line. So, for me, the goalkeeper, 0% blame. Not even 0.1%. Not even 0.00001% of the blame. Zero blame on the goalkeeper. The guy was where he should have been. What is not being accounted for is our right back, Diogo Dalot, deciding to play a hospital pass that was probably about 5 yards. I mean, Jesus Christ, they were quite close to each other. It's a simple pass. And this guy's his body facing towards Varane decides, you know what, I'm going to play it behind him. Why? Why are you playing the ball behind a guy that's not facing you? See, Varane's facing up the pitch. He's looking at what's going on up there. So if the ball comes to him, he just has to swivel the body slightly to receive the pass. But what happens? No, Diogo Dalot decides, you know what, Varane, think fast, and just smashes the ball behind him. So Varane's like, wait a second, I've just heard the ball get kicked, but it's not at my feet right now. I can't see it. Where is it? So he starts having to take a little look around him. Where's the ball gone? Lo and behold, the Lons attackers run straight past him. Oh, thank you very much. I'll take that. Now, can we blame Varane for that? Is he fast asleep? Is he not paying attention? Or is it the fact that our right back cannot play a 5-yard pass? He couldn't play a simple 5-yard pass. Literally, that's the bread and butter of a Ten Hag system, by the way, is to having some seriously good passing accuracy. But you're telling me a 5-yard pass is too much. It's too much for you to bear in your little cotton socks. Bless you. Bless you, Diogo. I mean, fuck me. There was literally no pressure at that point. That's just default possession. That's just default probing. That's literally what most teams that have possession do, is pass it around the back and then probe us with the occasional forward passes to move the defensive positions around on the opposition's team. That's the basics of a possession-based team. But we decide, without the pressure, without the counter press coming in, let's play a 5-yard pass that doesn't go to a teammate. That makes no sense. It literally makes no sense. I cannot for the life of me understand it. Anyway, that's the howler of the game addressed. The absolute joking addressed in the game. The other aspects of the game that were a relatively major concern was our midfield was getting bypassed again. Our midfield was practically, on the defensive element, completely irrelevant. And that's concerning. I mean, even for the sake of it being a preseason game, the fact of the matter is the way that our midfield was getting run through means that 7-0 is very likely to happen again. But who's going to be the recipient? Who's going to dish out the 7-0 to United this time? Who's going to be dishing out the 6-3? Who's going to be dishing out the 4-0s? Like, who's going to be doing that? Because it is so simple. And the fact that Lons just, you might as well just say that they walked through the team at times. Like, it was absolutely pathetic. The defensive structure in our midfield is honestly incredible. And so that, we can say, based off of what we've seen there, the idea that we desperately need Sofyan Amrabat just increases tenfold. I do believe that we desperately need Sofyan Amrabat now, solely based off of that game. I mean, we could say the same thing for the Real Madrid game. We could say the same thing for the Dortmund game. There's quite a few occasions where we can say, oh, but if we had Sofyan Amrabat there, that probably wouldn't have happened. The game would probably have been a bit different. See, as much as we got the possession side of things, relatively good, the idea that in defensive situations and scenarios, the fact that a team can just waltz through our midfield so easily, yet still, that breeds problems. Like, Tottenham Hotspur will play attacking. They can have the most Christ-awful defence. As far as I'm concerned, if we cannot defend in the midfield full stop, mate, we could be looking at something like a crazy 4-3 sort of result. Because, I mean, fuck me, if they don't sign centre-backs, it's probably going to be a fucking madhouse free-scoring game. Quick passing, quick tempo, movement off the ball, play straight through the middle, happy days. As long as you're not having to challenge down the fullbacks, you'll be sweet. You'll be sweet as a nut. Get someone to play in Varane's blind spot, happy days. I mean, you can't really challenge Martinez because that guy looked like a fucking animal. He looked like an absolute animal on that pitch. Literally, just defensive challenge after defensive challenge after defensive challenge. Man was just immovable. It's absolutely immovable. And that gives me some essence of relief. I feel a bit relieved having seen Lisandro Martinez, that calming presence at the back, and just the amount of times he's being pressed to a man with the player, like the opponent's standing right in front of him and he's about to take the ball off him. He's just so calm. It's just like, nah, see ya. Man even got... I'm pretty sure he's nutmegged somebody in that game as well, by the way. He nutmegged an attacker Like he's playing as though he's a fucking confident winger who's like he's essentially got the balls, the bollocks of Vinicius Junior playing at centre back. I mean, fucking hell, that guy's just fucking built different. Longhead Yeti, big ups, my guy. How are you doing? I see that you didn't lose your preseason game against Eintracht Frankfurt, but yeah, I hope everything's good with you. Wasn't able to do any watch-alongs for this game, nor watch any watch-alongs because I was busy at work. But big ups to you. Hope everything went well. Don't know. I've looked at your stats for your game as well. Was that a sleep stream that you were doing there? Was that a bit of a sleep stream? Bit of a snore fest? Watching watching a ball draw preseason game? I mean, God, that's got to be one of the worst. The preseason games where it literally just doesn't matter, and it was absolutely just, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Scored a perfectly good goal. Was that for your game that you scored a perfectly good goal? Because I'm pretty sure the game ended 0-0. Was that like something that was ruled out? It looked better than I've seen so far. I will take it. Well, I mean, it's you not losing 4-0 to a team that themselves lost to Wolves. I think they lost 3-1. Rennes lost 3-1 to Wolves today. Yeah, ruled out offside, which is interesting actually. So it's actually the linesman's decision that came up with that, because I can't imagine that there was any VAR involved with that. But you know, I'll tell you what, Manchester United's game against Lens should have finished perhaps like 4-5-1, maybe even 6-1. Like, some of the chances that we had were so clear cut, but we just absolutely fluffed our lines. I mean, the Mason Mount miss, fucking hell. Like, seriously, he wrong foots himself, right? So rather than striking it on the free foot, the swinging foot, it ends up missing the swinging foot and bouncing off of the other foot. So it then goes the other way rather than towards the goal. He's unmarked. It's a cutback pass from Garnacho. He's just wiped out two defenders. Two defenders out of the game. Mason Mount, free space, unmarked, fluffs it, fucks it, gone the other way. You might as well have said it's practically gone out for a corner kick. Like, it was, it was bad. It was really, really bad. I'm bloody well hoping that it's not a sign of things to come. I'll tell you that much. How was HOJLAND? HOJLAND was unveiled, but apparently, based off of what I've seen, said Mark Goldbridge talk about, because, you know, for a guy that has some insight sources at the club that tell him things, and obviously Rasmus HOJLAND, who is actually a common viewer of the United stand, funnily enough, and has been speaking to Mark Goldbridge. Basically, word has it is that the delays from the Rasmus HOJLAND deal with, like, on the medical side of things, was actually because the medical tests needed to do a couple of other extra checks on the player, because apparently there was some injury concerns there, and that there's a stark possibility that he's not actually going to be fit for the first game, potentially 2 games of the season. Now, whether that's true or not, I think the proof is going to be in the pudding. It's not like thankfully, it's not a case where we signed a player and it turns out the guy's not going to be fit for an entire month or something. Like, that would be just tragic. And I'll literally be pulling my hair out, throwing my chair throughout the window if I were to find out that Rasmus HOJLAND, we've done all of this long, strenuous work, bleeding the fans dry, with any joy and excitement of signing a young striker with some potential to him. just to find out the guy's injured for a month. That would be absolutely woeful. But yeah, I think we're yet to see really anything come out in detail yet. I mean, it might just be something where no, they don't feel it's necessary to address it because it's such an insignificant problem that they'll, it'll solve itself, it'll sort itself out, and then we'll go into the Wolves game on Monday, and he might end up being on the bench or something. I know factually, because he's not had pre-season training, um, that he would actually be fit enough to starting a game. He's not had fitness. He's not had any training sessions yet. So yeah, that will suck. Yes, it would. Imagine that if Anthony Elanga, you signed Anthony Elanga, and the guys, he comes to you on the injury table. He arrives at your training ground in the back of an ambulance. Imagine that. You in the Instagram group? I'm not in any Instagram group. No, I'm not in any Instagram group. I'm literally just a little personal Instagram account that I just sometimes have linked on my. I think I've got my Instagram linked in my pre-recorded uploads. There's like 3 links to some personal accounts that I have. I think both Instagram, Twitter, and then my Discord. Just other alternative ways of getting into contact with me. But if there is an Instagram group, then I'll get you an invite. Lovely stuff. I mean, I've got you followed on or I'm following you on Instagram at the moment. So yeah, if there's a group that you would like to invite me to, then fantastic stuff. Speaking of which, by the way, don't know if you fancy it, Yeti. Me, you, and Early Doors do a stream some point in the week where we do like a last sort of build up for the season, just as like an anticipation stream of the Premier League season, just before the first game weekend. Don't know if you might fancy doing an hour, 2 hour stream thereabouts for something like that. Don't know if that might take your fancy. Do be sure to let me know what you think about the idea, because I did see with the other Early Doors football show. Sure thing, free props Thursday night. Lovely stuff, lovely stuff. Probably have to get into contact with Early Doors as well. Got a show every night. Jeez. Man is on the grind. Got a show every night aside from Thursday. Oh, big man ting. Well, I'll be sure to drop in and check out some of these shows and come and join the fun, because it's all fun and games in this YouTube sphere. It's not like how some people will have it with their channels where it's all sort of serious. Let's get down to business. It's all just fun and games for us over here. Early Doors is in group. I'll get you added. Well, big ups to you, man. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I suppose we should talk about some of the other alternative positives of the game. Funnily enough, I'm going to start with perhaps Mason Mount. Perhaps we should start with Mason Mount. I'd say a 6.5 out of 10. If I were to essentially summarize the performance level of Mason Mount, but the impact he's had on the pitch, where perhaps on the defensive side we see what I think we already know with how he's performed, where he's not really essentially somebody that's going to do God's work, but it's like the work that he does is perhaps what no one gives the credit for, but it's necessary because it's like the teeny tiny thread pieces that sort of bring a performance together. We have a great community, all fit and just fine. Lovely stuff. Is it the same name on Insta? No, it is not. It's a different one. It's not Hot Fuzz on Instagram. I'm considering making an alternative Instagram account that's just solely like focused for my YouTube channel, just for the sake of that kind of interaction. Because I can imagine if my personal socials with all my friends and family on it just suddenly get loads of interactions from like football fanatics and frantics and all of that, then I'll probably be like, oh shit, what's going on here? Or if I start filling up their feeds with things that they literally couldn't give less of a toss about. Yeah, but yeah, I'll drop you my other Instagram account. You'll get loads of shows. Oh, lovely stuff, lovely stuff. I do need to start getting. I need to branch out a bit more. I need to spread my wings. I need to fly through the YouTube sphere, through the valley that is content creation on the footballing front. But yeah, I do need to. People tell me I don't get out enough. I guess it's gonna have to. I'm gonna have to double down on your basis of judgment that I don't go out enough. I'm gonna be staying in even more now. Maybe gonna be staying in even more. No chance of me socializing outside of the walls of this house. But yeah, big ups to you, man. Really appreciate it. Um, what I'll do is I'll actually drop you a DM on my personal account, but I'll see if I can make I'll see if I can make a dedicated YouTube Instagram account tonight. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be very, very interesting. Have a ghost story stream on Monday with Mother Flossie. I've seen that one queued. I have seen that one queued. I'm definitely going to be sure to tune into that. I'll have to double check on what the timing is for it to see if it confides with my available hours, if you will. But it's going to be, yeah. Look, I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to hearing what people have got to say about the extra. It's not extraterrestrial. That's not the word I'm looking for. It's the paranormal. That's what I'm looking for. Dungeons and Dragons stream with Jez on 6 p.m. Both 6 p.m. Well, so Dungeons and Dragons stream with Jez at 6 p.m. Is that meant to be like the next day 6 p.m.? Because I don't know. The way you've typed that there is it's almost like I've got two different YouTube channels. It's like squad streaming, where you've got Mama Flossie on the YouTube app, and then you go boot up the Dungeons and Dragons stream on a co-stream on the Twitch platform. Man. Oh yeah, Tuesday. Yeah. So Monday's got a ghost story. So everybody else that's in the chat, if you fancy going and listening to some ghost stories, go check out Long-Haired Yeti's YouTube channel, where you'll be seeing and hearing some stories of the paranormal experiences, and then with Jez Collins from the Arsenal, the history and more, another very interesting channel. I'm telling you right now that I'm pretty sure that the fact that Jez has been around the block with football, he could tell me more about Manchester United than I know. He could tell me more about my own club, and he don't even support my club. Like, the guy is literally a footballing encyclopedia. You want to know something, the guy's bound to know it. But yeah, go check out Arsenal, the history and more. He has started to do some more streams as of recently as well. And yeah, big ups to Jez the legend. Looking forward to the fan cams. I mean, tomorrow, I think if Lee Gunner's doing the stream, I might have to force my stream to be considerably earlier, just for the sake of wanting to watch the watch along for that stream, for that game. That's going to be sick. Absolutely going to be sick, as well as the post matches and everything. Going to be seriously cool. Multitasking streamer for me. I mean, Jesus Christ! Once you go knee deep in it, I'll tell you what. It's like you don't you think the YouTube life and all of that would be easy if it's like your career, like your mainstay career. Um, be it like even for like Twitch streamers. I mean, Jesus Christ! I mean, being a Twitch streamer, some people say that's easy. I mean, staring at your screen practically every day for the best part of 4 to 5 to 6 hours and be constantly just chatting. But that's every day. You do it once or twice, you think, geez, thank goodness I've completed that stream. You go do it again and again and again. I used to do it with my gaming streams quite a while back with CSGO, where I streamed about 14 days straight and played a game for about 4 to 5 hours every day on Twitch, just non-stop gaming and chatting and everything. And my God, you do it once or twice, you think, wow, that's quite a lot. Fuck me, you do it for 2 weeks straight. Jesus Christ, it takes the hell out of you. So trust me, people that are grinding on content creation, I ain't gonna say nothing. I am not gonna say nothing of slanderous habit at all. Thanks for the shout out. No problems, my guy. Big ups to you. Jez is a legend. 100% agree. 100% agree. Everybody's a legend in our YouTube sphere. Everybody is. But anywho, so where was I with Mason Mount? Yes, Mason Mount. Not a major performance to rave home about. Um, fairly steady. Connected to connected the pieces, deeper areas of the pitch, further forward as well. One particular player that seriously deserves a whole host of plaudits for this game has got to be Alejandro Garnacho. My God, when I was watching those highlights, I thought that it was the Garnacho show. Everything was just going through him. Literally every like major clear cut chance we seem to have was created by Garnacho just driving down the wing and trying some trickery, getting some trickery on. The guy was absolutely relentless down the left hand side. Anthony, probably less so, had some good positions where he took up good positions on the attacking front on the right hand side. Didn't try to go too deep to the byline, didn't sort of hold back on any runs. He was relatively involved with the game, kept himself at a good position, and fair plays to him with the goal. I mean, Jesus Christ, there were 2 goals, right? I think I'm pretty sure there's 2 goals. Was there 2? No, there was 1 goal, but there was almost another one. I think it was Garnacho, the first one, where he took a heavy touch and nearly ran into the goalkeeper. Anthony's goal was nearly a heavy touch, ran it into the goalkeeper. Got a head out, dude. BRB. No worries whatsoever, my guy. Do what you got to do. Big ups to you. Thank you very much for tuning in. Massively appreciate the love and support that you've shown me. 100%. Yeah, people, make sure go drop Longhead Yeti's cave a sub. Even if you're not a Nottingham Forest fan, I don't care. Even if you are a chess fanatic, don't care. Go and drop this person a sub. He deserves it. Yeah, big ups to you, man. But yes, Anthony, an okay performance, right? And I say okay, it was impactful. He was relatively impactful. Marcus Rashford as well, goal scorer. Not a huge, not a lot really to say apart from those points. But Garnacho, as much as he's had a very quiet game against Real Madrid, and then no, it wasn't. It was Arsenal. He played against Arsenal, looked a bit slow in that, looked like he wasn't fully at the races. Then he plays the Real Madrid game, looks a little bit better. Then I think he played a little bit in the Dortmund game. He's sort of gaining a yard or two, and then this game he just exploded. So the guy, I'll tell you what, Alejandro Garnacho, I think he's doing himself a lot of favours to warrant starting against Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's doing himself a lot of favours to be in that position, to put himself that um, into that manager's selection, the first official selection. We've got another game tomorrow against Athletic Bilbao, which I think is going to be interesting, a bit of an interesting spectacle. Probably not so much for other fan bases, but for United fan base, it's going to be a bit interesting because it's essentially going to be the subs bench plus a couple of others playing for another full 90 minutes, and that's essentially what Ten Hag's done with the two games day after day. Is the first game at Old Trafford against Lens, the first team, the starting 11, most likely for the Wolves game, is playing 90 minutes. One or two players came off, but 90 minutes in the legs for most of the key players of that team. The second game is going to be the same thing, but for the reserves. By reserves, I mean the subs bench, but also the other rotation players, and then probably some of the youth prospects. I'm not really going to look into the Athletic Bilbao result by much at all. I think it's just a case more of having a 90-minute match experience, so that some of the players that will be playing tomorrow will probably be the players that will be coming into the bigger picture during the course of the season, when perhaps the first 11 players get injured. They are the ones that you see playing against Bilbao will come in to be the players that start with the first team. It's going to be interesting, though, to say the least. Just solely based off of the match time, the set match time. I'm just going to have a quick check, double check on the match time, just to absolutely make sure that I am not misinforming people. But I believe, as far as that game is concerned, what time is it? What time? 4 o'clock. Oh dear. 4 o'clock. Well, probably not going to be doing that game. I'm probably not going to be covering that game, to be quite frankly honest, because there's a Community Shield game going on. It's Manchester City versus Arsenal. As much as as much as I'd love to be sat here watching Manchester United, and to be quite frankly honest, if it was more the case that it's the first team, I would be more on this game than I am with the Community Shield, because the first team of Manchester United, that's where the biggest questions will always be asked about things regarding the club moving forwards, the team, how that's progressing, and all the big questions people have got to ask. Yes, it's going to be interesting. I think for those who are going to be covering it, I'm definitely going to be keeping up to date with what's happening in the game, but I'm essentially going to be eyes on the Community Shield, because as much as I'm a Manchester United supporter, I am also a football lover. I enjoy watching football, and it's gonna be a highly interacted game. Man City versus Arsenal. Even though there's not really much in the way of spills or no, I'd say spills and thrills. No, there's probably going to be a lot of spills and thrills, but what the match implies, there's not really going to be a significance to what the match implies, but then that's even less so the case with our game against Bilbao tomorrow in Dublin. There's even less significance because it's literally the bench 11 versus Athletic Bilbao, which essentially that's Bilbao's last game. I think that's their last preseason game as well. They're going to go full strength 11. We're fielding a bench team against them. You might as well say that it's essentially a write-off. It's a free hit. I'm going to coin the Arsenal catchphrase for a team that they were never going to beat. It's a free hit. It's a free hit, people. But yeah, it's not going to have any implications because the first team that play today, they won today, but they had, quite a few of the key players had some good performances, some great performances. Thought Onana was quite clean in goal. He saved a lot of efforts. I mean, the goal that was conceded, literally, I've already pardoned him of any and all blame. Like literally everything about that goal, the goalkeeper, even if it was David De Gea, I mean, Jesus Christ, I'll tell you what, if it was David De Gea, I'll tell you what, the guy would probably be rooted to his goal line anyway. So he might have actually saved that. But even so, but yeah, it's just the stupidity of the decision making and the back lines, and without there being really any pressure, a stupid mistake cost us a goal, and that's probably going to be a likely reoccurring theme right the way throughout the season. But we will take the positives that have occurred in the game. Garnacho, fantastic performance, 100%. Anthony looked lively, very lively. Rashford looked alert, looked sharp on the finishing side of things. Martinez, very confident, very cool, very collected, lovely stuff. And Andre Onana looks like he looks steady with his hands. He does. He looks very steady with the hands, and that's going to be the big talking point for Andre Onana. I know a lot of people are going to be sitting here and saying, "Oh, well, look, he might have silly mistakes where he passes, he sends a hospital pass to a centre back that gets intercepted or something, or he'll dribble the ball and lose it." We can speculate to those things happening, but on a simple basis, is that the biggest test for me with Andre Onana is the shot stopping, because David De Gea was part and parcel, fantastic shot stopper, but didn't really offer anything aside from that. Now, shot stopping, if you're a solid shot stopper, your saves, your big moment saves, times in the game where your saves are so important and so imperative that you're the reason, you become the reason that you win a game, because all of these shots that come at you, it's like another goalkeeper. You say, oh, well, if that's another goalkeeper, they wouldn't save that. David De Gea, for so many occasions last season, kept our asses out of the gutter, but also had moments where we looked like, oh, he's the reason we're losing games. And it's like, well, no, not really. It's the rest of the team. And we've seen elements of it during pre-season, that the problems being caused by other players that are, not stuck in between the goalposts. So, I think there's going to be a lot of people who were mad, De Gea hater cultists that are going to look quite silly during the season at points, where they see that a goalkeeper that's their favourite wet dream goalkeeper, who's fantastic with the feet, looks really snazzy on the ball. He's got some good footwork. All his distribution is flawless. He got all of those points, all of those cases and scenarios where you're like, yes, he's fantastic. He is here and he is beautiful. You can say those all you want. You can say all of those things all you want. But if it comes down to the nitty and gritty, and you start seeing someone like Harry Maguire start another game, and he then ends up giving the ball away and then falling flat on his face, and then they do a little sweaty pass across the face of goal to an unmarked striker, do we sit here and say, oh, it's the Onana clown show? No, we don't. We sit there and we say, oh, it's Harry Maguire. But you see, if it was De Gea, it was all about David De Gea, because, oh, why didn't he save this? Oh, why is it that De Gea will pass him up? It's like with the Sevilla goal, as a prime example. I mean, David De Gea, as much as the pass might be slightly slower, I mean, Harry Maguire is Harry Maguire. If it was another centre-back, they deal with it differently. They deal with it where it averts danger. You pass it straight back. If you're not, I don't get this with centre backs. If a pass to you is suspect and you're like, oh no, if you're going to touch the ball and try and turn with it, you're bound to lose it. why aren't you playing it straight back and calling for it to be cleared? You know, there's a lot of situations where our defenders or centre backs would have received a De Gea pass and just done some absolute stupidness with it. Like, like not gonna lie, but I mean, Andre Onana, he's going to take those arguments that the De Gea haters had, right? He's going to take those arguments, he's going to really put them under the microscope. And he's going to be like, okay, so you blame De Gea for this, you blame him for that, blame him for that, blame him for that, blame him for that. Okay, so when the same shit happens to me and I'm the saviour from these clown moments from the goalkeeper, if I'm the saviour of this, I'm the solution to that problem, but they continue to happen. Will I be blamed the same way? Will I be told that I'm not a good enough goalkeeper for distribution, or my passing's not that great? Will I be the biggest problem, or will it be the centre backs just getting away with bloody murder again? Because there's a lot of suspect players in this team yet still. A lot of suspect players. Now, we've got a goalkeeper that's going to aid in the distribution in terms of starting passages of play or starting things like moves from scratch from the back, you know, from goal kick situations. Will probably feel like there's a lot less wasted opportunities or moments in the game where we actually do a good job of playing through the press from a dead ball position. Now we might have all the joy and freedom in the world with Andre Onana. That's quite possible, but it's everything else that comes with it. It's like it's the baggage of the team. It's just I feel like I'm excited for Andre Onana based off of what the expectation around him supposedly built up to be. Like Andre Onana is going to be the solution to all of our problems. Okay, I'll be paying attention. I'll be watching very closely to all of those people who say that he's going to solve everything. So if Harry Maguire has an absolute howler, I'm going to be looking at you. I'm going to be saying, whose fault was that? Whose fault was it? You can't blame David De Gea. He's not here anymore. Can't blame him for that. And I'll tell you what, the Maguire apologists, Jesus Christ. I cannot wait. I cannot wait for us if we get a game where we get absolutely palmed and kicked off the pitch, and if Maguire has any point or any part to play in a negative result, I want to pay very close attention to the Maguire apologists who will try and excuse everything that he holds us back from. I want to see all of the excuses they have. And I swear to God, if I see any shit that gets recycled from last season, I will just tell them. I'll tell them straight facts. You're absolutely spineless. You're absolutely spineless. Like some people have got to grow a backbone. They've got to grow a backbone. And some people say, well, look, once you put on a shirt, you got to support your team, support your players. But it's like they're commodities. The players are commodities. It's like we, the consumer of football, of sport, of entertainment, we want entertainment, but we want excellency. We demand it. So when we sit here and we get delivered, it's like, is it Patreons or something? It's like a commission-based thing. So let's take an artist, right? You pay an artist your hard-earned money, and you say, commission me this, right? I want a painting of a beautiful landscape or something, and I want my beloved mother to be in that picture, right? So artist goes and paints this picture. He paid, say, just as an example, 50 quid for it. like 50, like let's say 50 quid for it. Let's say you pay 50 quid. Now you're probably going to need a heck of a lot more money to pay for an art piece that's going to be something that looks hella good. Let's say you pay £50 for an artist, and you say, well, I've paid good money. I expect something good, right? I expect something good. Now, let's say this artist, right, is Harry Maguire. He comes back to you and he's literally is the drawing of a 5-year-old. Your mother, your beautiful beloved mother, is a stick man on a wooden stick chair. The sun is a little yellow scribbled ball with little lines drawn around it, right? And it's just like, you get that back and you're like, but Harry, I paid 50 quid for this. I expected something good. And it's like, that's the best I can do. I mean, fuck me, that's a Harry Kane voice, that is. But still, I'm just going to assume that all Harrys sound the same, for fuck's sakes. They all have strange voices. Sorry if I offend anyone called Harry in chat, but I've got to make a point. If anyone's named Harry and you don't have a weird sounding voice, I apologize. But fuck me, every Harry that I've ever known has had a weird fucking voice. So, back, dude. Welcome back, Yeti. Hot Fuzz, Carl Rossi in the building. How you doing? Good to see you, man. Big ups to you. Hope you're doing mighty fine on this rather wet, horrible Saturday. Sunday should be better. So I'm looking forward to some sunshine tomorrow. Mr. Rossi Legend, yes, 100%. Big ups to Mr. Carl Rossi. But I hope everybody is having a smashing day. Smash them fucking likes. Smash the fucking granny out of them likes. Go on, do it. Get on with it. But yeah, big ups, man. Thank you very much for dropping in. Really appreciate the love and support. But yeah, it's like what I'm saying with the like Maguire apologists, or the people, right, who sit there and try and make excuses for Harry Maguire, and as to the reason why you should demand your players, even if somebody turns around to you and says, well, once they wear the shirt, support your team and back your team. It's just like, well, there's a part to this where it's like you can feel abused as a fan because you are a consumer of entertainment. The sport is the entertainment. It's like supply and demand. If you're paying for these players to put on a good show and perform for you, it's just an absolute abusive relationship if the players just don't perform whatsoever. To your dreams. Carl going to get Hot Fuzz into the community. Yeah, big ups to you, Yeti, man. I'm going to see if I can make a Instagram account that's dedicated to the channel. So essentially, I'm starting with a new face. I'm going to start with a new face. Get a facelift, a bit of a facelift for my Instagrams. I'm all for it, mate. The more real ones, the merrier. All those merry men, the merry men. Now I say that, I kind of wish this was a Guinness, but it's not. It's Pepsi. But yes, big ups to you guys. And yeah, it's like the Maguire apologists will tell me that if Harry Maguire's an artist and I commission him 50 quid to go paint me a beautiful landscape picture with my beloved mother on it, and he comes back with a 5-year-old's drawing, which has my mother looking like a stick man with a little like gingerbread stick house that all the lines are just like completely disorientated and like nothing's connected, and all the colouring goes outside of the lines as well. It's just like Harry Maguire essentially delivers that sort of level to people who are paying consumers. And it's like people will sit on the side and say, oh, but you got to support him. He's a hardworking artist. Fuck off. No, he's not. Harry Maguire is a fucking turd blossom that wears a Manchester United shirt, who should not be wearing a Manchester United shirt. He specialises in relegations like Arsene Wenger does top four trophies. He fucking takes the captaincy and decides to gnaw it off to everybody and thinks he's above everybody else, and then goes and gets into trouble with the Greek police. I mean, fucking hell, like, what can this guy actually do that commands the respect of Harry Maguire? Like, where does the brand Harry Maguire get respect from? It's actually crazy. But there's people that wank over on socials talking about, oh, Harry Maguire, but look at how good he is here. Look at how he was when he was at Hull City. I mean, for fuck's sakes, the guy back then probably could actually have half a care or half a damn about actually making their career worth something. So it's like a player that looks shit, if he has the passion and desire to play, can look good. They can look good. But the matter of the fact is that those clips you watch are like on a basis of one game for every 25 they play. It doesn't make sense. Why are you rating that? It's like the same reasons they back Harry Maguire, the Maguire apologist, would be the same reason that people say, well, Fred's a fantastic player, but he's inconsistent. But he's a fantastic player. No, you don't get it. Scott McTominay, how about him? Oh, he's a young prospect. He will come good. You know, he's got plenty of years ahead of him. Oh my fucking life. He's got plenty of years ahead of him. Oh boy. Plenty of years seeing you buying the stocks of Cadbury's Milky Bar Kid. You know, where's your Cowboys hat? I mean, you might as well turn up to rock up to Old Trafford on horseback, right? Wearing them specs with them little freckles, blonde hair, cowboy hat, gunslinger, you know, shooter, you know, fastest hands, quick draw hands of the wild, wild west. Go do that. Show your love and support to Scott McTominay, because that's the closest claim to fame that guy has. I mean, fucking hell. But that's just me. Some people will feel differently, and that's just completely up to you. I state the way I feel. You might completely disagree with it, but you know, who cares if you don't like what I think? And take it from me, right? Like what Gandhi said, right? What you think about me is none of my business. So if you have me on your death note list or something, then maybe that's when I start to draw any element of concern. But aside from that, anything you have to say about me, I don't care. I don't care. But anywho, some folks are special in in the way that they think. Yeah, I mean, this is coming from someone who's literally got Asperger's syndrome as well. And I mean, fuck me, it's just like, oh, Jesus Christ, thank goodness I didn't end up in that social group. But even so, Harry Maguire needs to go. Average at Leicester, woeful at United. 100%. He's got to go. And I think he'll go to West Ham and he'll fit in like a glove. I mean, West Ham, by the way, right? Big shout out to Early Doors TV. Someone should go check on him and see if he's doing all right after they lost 4 freaking nil. I can't remember who it was they lost 4-0 to, but I mean, Jesus Christ. It's like one of the last games of your pre-season and you're dropping a 4-0 stinking loss. Who was it that they got absolutely battered by? I don't think it was a big team as well. I think it's quite a small team. They got absolutely palmed. I mean, fuck me, even Everton beat Sporting Lisbon. Absolute madness. Mainz beat Burnley today as well. Trying to find where this West Ham game is. Jeez. Leverkusen, that's it. Leverkusen smashed them 4-0. Absolutely smashed them 4-0. So please, West Ham, you know, if you want someone who's proper West Ham, go get Harry Maguire. Go get Scott McTominay as well, please. About £75 million for the both of them, you know, and we got ourselves a deal. or I say 75 million. It's probably closer to 70. You know, it's never going to happen. United fans equals Arsenal fans. I swear to God, there is probably an element to it where it's like they both. It's like, what is it? It was in Troops' video log of the Arsenal United game. I watched that video, and there was a clip in it where there's a guy who was wearing a United top, and I think he was wearing a United top, and he took it off for an Arsenal top underneath it. I'm like, what the fuck? I know they're American fans, and I know they're built different, but my God, does tribalism have no representation over there? It's like, it's not even just with the fan in Troops' video. Like, even on AFTV fan cams, there was literally somebody who's like, "Oh, I have a lot of respect for Arsenal, but okay, what club do you support then?" "Oh, I'm a Man United fan." What the fuck? Why? It's like me. It's like me if I'm watching that Man United Liverpool game back. It's just like, I'm a Man United fan. Do you know what though? I'm going to put on a Liverpool shirt because I like Liverpool. What? Harry Maguire looks like a cupboard. Dude, the guy looks like one of those little like characters that you have, like these little toy characters that have tiny bodies but with a massive fucking gigantic heads. It's like the little bobble things that you get in your car. Like you stick them on like your dashboard, and then you boing boing, and then the head just bobbles. He's like that. It's like a massive version of that. Just stick him right behind the goal at Old Trafford, Stretford End, right, and just get the fans to keep just bringing his head. So it's just sat there going for the whole 90 minutes. This might as well just do that. So many teams not doing much, to be honest. It's going to be bargain basement. I mean, I'll tell you what. Talk about bargain basement. I mean, West Ham make £105 million off a Declan Rice sale, and you're telling me that they're not willing to spend above £20 million per transfer. I've heard that stories come out. I've heard that story that literally they were trying to keep a transfer cap of about £20 million. If there's any truth to that, that is fucking disgraceful. I wouldn't sit here and expect that of a championship team. I wouldn't expect to have a championship team. I'd sit there and say, well, look, if you want to spend big, if you want to win big, you got to spend big. That's just the way the cookie crumbles. That's just the law of the jungle. You want to win big, you better spend big. But if you're not going to spend big, you're going to spend well. But in West Ham's case, they ain't spending big, they ain't spending well, they ain't spending at all. So I'm afraid, West Ham supporters, take that 4-0 drubbing to Leverkusen, and don't take it with a pinch of salt. Take the whole jar of salt, like the whole bottle, the whole whatevs. Just dose it all over. Right all over. Pour all of that salt all over you. You're going to need it. Maybe pour a little bit of that lemon squeeze into your eye as well, because what you're about to watch this season is going to be absolute tragedy. Some Arsenal fans put the arse in Arsenal. It's funny when Arsenal fans will literally say, "Oh, up the arse, up the arse." I'm pretty sure that they literally do that for the sake of how silly it sounds. It's like the Facebook post I've seen where some bloke took his mum to see Arsenal at the Emirates, and she's just his caption for the post is like, "I took my mum to see took my mum up the arse." Like, you might want to reconsider your Facebook post, buddy. You might want to reconsider, take that back to the drawing board and pin up a different idea and put up a different plan, because that's looking kind of clapped and a bit suspect, if you will. Yeti true man, except us who wasted half of it on fucking habits. You want 100%. I still can't get my head around that. I've heard fucking Robbie on what is it? Best of Enemies, saying Havertz has been decent. Fucking hell, no, he hasn't. Yeah, I think the eye test is failing Robbie. I think Mans probably was watching them with Macho Man's glasses on or something, or the $1 million man's glasses on. And man was just rubbing the tears out of his eyes with the stacks of fives and tens and whatnots. It's like man's surely cannot be serious when he says that. Oh, fucking hell, cannot be serious when he's talking about Havertz. Oh, Havertz has been decent. No, he hasn't. I've not watched Havertz this pre-season, and I know he has not been good. He hasn't been good. He might have been very, very steady and okay, like a 6 out of 10. That's average. But Arsenal need good. They need good, as and that's the barest minimum. Good, because at least good can actually get you somewhere. But average doesn't take you forward one step, doesn't take you back one step. It just means you're rooted to the spot. You might as well be walking around with concrete slabs tied to your laces. Rice is a player worth no more than 40 million. I felt that as well. I've said for a long time Declan Rice is a 40, 50 million pound player. The guy has no specialties. He's like Scott McTominay. Scott McTominay has no specialties. Nobody can tell me what Scott McTominay is good at. Same way, nobody can tell me what Declan Rice is specialising in. He hasn't got specialties. He's he's the jack of all trades. But then again, that kind of suits what Arteta wants. Is all of the players are equipped in various ways. All the players are equipped with being able to do different jobs, and it's just like if you have a whole squad of players who just do that with no specialists, that poses you some mad problems, because what's going to happen is when you come up against the world's best, the specialists in that team will make your jack of all trades look like absolute wastemans. It's going to happen. Agree compromise 105 million. Isn't 105 million pounds. I mean, give me a shout of a couple of names or midfield names that you reckon would go for 100. I mean, Jude Bellingham, I'd say, is probably still quite extortionate. I would have said Jude Bellingham's about an 80 million pound. I'd say Jude Bellingham's about 80 million. I'd struggle to find a midfielder, right, that is fairly warranting a 100 plus million pound asking price. I really struggle to find any midfielders that at the moment that genuinely warrant that sort of a price tag. He is very good at being average English, should be Irish, tax taking back into the Boston Tea Party. I'll tell you what, Declan Rice should have switched his allegiance to some like Icelandic country or something, like change his nationality to some unknown island or something, just so that it takes half of his price tag off, and then West Ham go, oh, we can't do that. You can't fleece them now. The guy's changed his nationality to a country I've never heard of. What? I mean, Jesus Christ. Party is better. Party will probably be the saving grace that spares Declan Rice's blushes this season, because I can see a game or two this season where Declan Rice gets made to look like a fool, and people need to realise that with the Arsenal fan base. Declan Rice last season had Thomas Soucek, right, a destroyer right next to him. Declan Rice, even that midfield pairing, had games where they were just overrun, right? And Thomas Soucek is a decent DM. He is a decent DM. He's not an absolute sack of shit. Like he's like Wilfred and Ndidi. They are good players, but I mean, the work that they do, the partner that gets next to them, perhaps gets all the praises sung in their name, so that they get all the plaudits and they get made to look like they're the second coming of Christ, whilst the guy that's actually taken most of the fall damage for said other player is the one that will get overlooked all the time. Partey, but yeah, 100%. Need Rice to protect Partey because that man can pick a pass. Um, yeah, I mean, Thomas Partey's work off the ball as well, I think is going to be quite important. And I think as far as, I mean, I'll tell you what, it's going to be absolute. It's going to be murder on the dance floor if Kai Havertz is the player that's starting games for Arsenal next season. I mean, the Declan Rice and Partey, I think, has got to happen just for the sake of Declan Rice perhaps having the same sort of an influence that or the same similar role that Granit Xhaka had played last season. I mean, the second Kai Havertz starts a game for Arsenal, and that becomes your midfield, you're in trouble, mad trouble. Um, Facts: McTominay's quality at being shit. Yeah, yeah. Jack off a saw. South Park settings. Oh my days. Rodri and Bellingham. That's about it. I mean, Rodri, I could probably say post treble, you could probably say about 90. I'd say even then, about a 90 million, 95 million pounds transfer fee, right, or value. But if you're buying someone like a Bellingham or a Rodri that exceeds the £100 million mark, no one's going to sit there and say, "Oh well, they overpaid. They overpaid." Well, no, because look at the players that they are. It's like even if actually you overpay, you don't sit there and say, "Well, that's you will stick that on fraud watch because look at that they've overspent." It's not like Anthony. It's not like Anthony by any means. I mean, Anthony, fuck me, that's like a £30 million player right there. I mean, £30 million in the Premier League. It's like Diaby. I mean, Diaby and Anthony, I reckon Diaby might have a good goal scoring campaign, but as far as player individual qualities go, I think Diaby and Anthony will probably be quite similar. I think they're relatively similar as to what they will offer the team on a football pitch. But there's so many players that have such extortionate values, and I think the fact that some players have gone for mad expensive, pricey transfer fees has seemingly warped the perception of a lot of other fans that look at other transfers and just go, well, because look at the price that Anthony went for. That means that who can I think of? Alan Saint Maximin. He must be worth 110 million. Could not. Enzo Fernandez. Again, probably to me, probably not a £100 million player. I'd say probably 70 to 80. I'd say Pedri, Gavi, Casemiro. I mean, Casemiro. I think Gavi. I think might be somewhat overrated. I think Pedri's the guy that I think is going to be the next like massive major prospect in midfield. Like what that guy's going to have, like potential wise, where that guy's going to go is going to be absolutely insane. I think Pedri's going to be massively sought after. He's going to be in a lot of people's dream teams, sort of like 5 years, 5-10 years down the line. So I could probably say Pedri might be the first player where I openly say he is 100% the barest minimum worth at least £100 million upwards. Imagine how much Bergkamp, Henry, Cantona, Key would be worth nowadays. I mean, fuck me. And I think that's the thing. He didn't have as much of this sort of coaching stuff, like all of these teams having players who are system players. You never really had that sort of structure in football by default, as you did back in as you do right now. Back in those days, there's a lot more of the talent did the talking per player, per individual. Like you have some of the best teams with some of the best cohesion, but there was a lot of players with some serious, unbelievable talents and a lot of personalities as well, where no one was commanded by fear. Like everybody was, everybody is like everybody's off the rails at that point. I mean, no, literally no one could give less of a fuck, but everybody right now is just like, oh, try not to piss the manager off, try to, kick a ball the most basic ways possible to earn a wage that my childhood heroes would probably could only dream of making. I mean, it's just to think about it like that is quite damning. Make them in 500 mil to a billion range comparing these shit standard footballers. And I'll tell you what, players like Henri, Bergkamp, Cantona, Keane, players like that. I mean, we talk about Kylian Mbappe being worth like hundreds of millions of pounds. I mean, I'd say that if you stick Kylian Mbappe back in those days, the guy's just a pace merchant compared to those players. Literally, he's just a pace merchant, and he would just abuse his pace so much on a football pitch that you'd just be able to shit house a load of goals. So you still keep a very impressive goal scoring record, but he wouldn't be recognised as one of the world's best at that point. But yeah, that Turner signed for Forest. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I've seen a question today, by the way, Yeti. People of the United fan base, they're trying to find a way to accept having Dean Henderson stay as number 2. And I'm like, the guy doesn't want to be here. And he's said this so many times. He spent a whole seat, like he even did an interview where he shat all over this club, and people are like, yeah, he can stay as number 2. Fuck off. No, he cannot. But Matt Turner, I don't know what you personally think about that. I mean, he's no Dean Henderson by any means, but I mean Matt Turner, I don't know. As I'll tell you what, you had last season Keylor Navas and fucking Dean Henderson as 2 potential options for goalkeepers, and then obviously had Wayne Hennessy. But I mean, fuck me. You've gone from Keylor Navas to Matt Turner. That's. I'm sorry. If I see a downgrade like that, I'm throwing the towel in right now. I'm saying, fuck this. I'm getting relegated. Congrats. Thanks, Yeti, for taking him. I mean, I'll tell you what. There might be another one of those situations. I mean, United fans said the same thing about Anthony Elanga. Mans was saying, look, thank you for taking Anthony Elanga. I mean, technically speaking, for us, we want to go on to bigger, better things. So technically, yes, thank you for taking Elanga. But oh Jesus Christ, these comments are mad coming quick. Inflation, rising everything except my fucking salary. Exactly. Fucking minimum wage. I mean, no one can afford to pay me enough money to fucking butter a slice of toast. I mean, I don't get enough money to even do that. I mean, Jesus Christ, the amount of people that are just seriously broke. But I'll tell you what, if you're a politician, if you're good at lying, your wage salaries go up every month. So maybe we'll just be too honest with ourselves. It seems as though if you lie in this life, if you lie in this world, you see like 5-figure, 6-figure, 7-figure salaries. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Yeah, will die laughing if he gets a clean sheet the first game. If Matt Turner rocks up to the Emirates and keeps a clean sheet against Arsenal and Nottingham Forest nick a 1-0 win, fucking hell. I don't even know what I would do. I would not even know what I'd do. I'd literally watch Lee Gunner on the watch along with his clapped hairline. No offense, Lee. Clapped hair. I mean, come on. He speaks about his own hairline the same way. I mean, my hairline's fucking finished as well. If I'm going to be completely honest, but he'll go from having a blonde set of hair to the fan cam. The guy's got bald, little bit of a shine on top from the absolute seething stress that man's going to be feeling watching a fucking goalkeeping reject keep a clean sheet at the Emirates for a relegation candidate team. I mean, fucking hell. Great stream. Well, let's keep that, mate. Thank you very much, Carl Rossi. I massively appreciate the support. I'm just here to have fun and have a good time, literally. I don't know if people watching the stream feel the same way, but I'm enjoying myself. I'm absolutely enjoying myself. You agree with 1,000% there. Thank you very much, Yeti. Big ups to you. Uh, I'm half French. I do not rate Mbappe as highly as others, mate. Mbappe is like, it's the brand. A lot of people see the brand and they think, oh, world class player, like on a different level, just stratosphere is clear. Trust me, he's not. He's not. He's like, we can say he fits into today's world class bracket, and he'd do so quite comfortably. But I mean, he's not. He's not. He's not God, as some people seem to rate him as. He can play in goals, so I'm happy. Yeah, fair enough. Wanted Henderson. Yeah, I mean Henderson. Henderson is a better goalkeeper than Matt Turner. Tina Turner, sorry. Got to. I mean, I don't know. Are we going to be? I'll have to see what song it is that Yeti's singing in his if he does a watch along for the Arsenal game. I'm going to have to see what song he's singing. If it's anything but Tina Turner, I know it's not a good day for Nottingham Forest. I will tell you that much. But if it is, if Nottingham Forest is on fire, I'm hearing Simply the Best just on repeat for 2 hours straight. Hope Forest stay up. Same. I think we'll call just again though. We should get Navas back. I think you should get Navas back. I mean that guy's crazy. My biggest weakness is lying. If only I was a cockroach. If only you were a cucaracha. If you're only a little cucaracha. My second favourite team solely because of you. Are you sure it's not because of Forest Fan TV? Nah, big ups Yeti. Lee Gunnar's hairline committed mutiny a long time ago. I seen an Instagram story of him at the barber's, and I saw him with some hair clips, and I was just like, bro, is he at a barber's shop or is he at the hairdresser's? He's gonna have a perm done. He's gonna have some curls added on the top. That is can't beat. I respect to yeah. Cheers, yeah. What chances has Turner had though? To be honest, to be fair though, I mean Matt Turner. I don't actually remember ever seeing Matt Turner like having tremendously bad performances where people say, "Oh, the guy's got to go. He's got to go. Get him out. Get him out now." I don't ever remember ever seeing that sort of an outburst towards Matt Turner for anything specific. So I think he's probably quite a steady keeper. It's just, does he have everything he needs if he's going to be faced with about an average of 20 shots a game? Is he going to have the tools he needs to, keep a very good high save percentage up? And that's also a fair point. He's done great for the USA. I think he's got some good elements to his game. 100% he has. He's got some good sides to his game, but it's just if he's got it, that's the thing. Is it the it factor that he's got for Nottingham Forest? That yeah. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what Matt Turner has to offer. I, as a league and a fanboy, totally disagrees with the hairline fake news. Well, now, what dirty little source has been coming out talking about Lee's hairline being so far back you could land a 747 on it? Who's been saying that? Where's that news come from? Who are we locking up today? Who's home in Marga-Laga while we raiding? Cheers. Oh, for God's sakes. Mate, big ups to everybody. Especially big ups to the Gunner, real one. Genuine real one. Absolutely hilarious person. Absolutely love watching all of his content. I've seen where people have a lot of shit to say about League, and it's just like, imagine if people really didn't take so much of what people say on a media platform to heart. Like, if people stopped getting so personally offended by what someone says on a YouTube camera. It's like you go and watch a Minecraft video as a kid. You don't sit there crying your eyes out because you're offended by everything that this person's saying. You're watching a game being played by somebody else, by a favorite content creator. If people literally just stop taking shit so personally, people like Lee Gunner wouldn't actually be getting anywhere near as much hate as he does. And it's not anything to do with Lee Gunner's fault. It's like what I said, offense is only ever taken, it's never given. So it's everybody choosing to be offended, and people should remember that people legitimately always choose to be offended by what someone says, as opposed to someone giving offense by what someone says. I always look at the positives. Could have been runners. Oh, Jesus Christ. Could have been runners. Could have been Rob Green coming out of retirement, mate. I adore that human. He is an out and out real one. There's some, I mean, of course, there's probably some things maybe he says that I don't fully agree with. You know, I can't really pick out case in point. It's just when he says something at the time, I might say, oh, don't fully agree with that. But that's the thing, is even if I don't agree with something that Lee Gunner says, I never ever feel offended or feel as though I need to, write him off my books or anything, because the guy's just speaking what he thinks and how he feels, and it's everyone's God-given right to do so. So if Boris Johnson made a YouTube channel tomorrow, I'm not going onto his YouTube channel, disliking every video he uploads and writing hateful comments. Like, I'm not going to do that, because if Boris Johnson tomorrow decided to fucking make a YouTube account where he's just talking about the fucking weather every day, I'm not going to sit there and go, fucking cloud, keyboard warrior. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, you go and you do you. It's the actions that always speak louder than words, and that's where the buck stops with YouTube channels. Is that it's no one's coming into your house and turning your life upside down. Someone's literally speaking what goes through their mind on a camera, and people can choose to agree with it or disagree with it. And if people seriously just disagree with it, that's all cool, right? That's where you have to stop, right? If you disagree with it, you disagree with it. Stop right there. You don't need to think about it any more than that. It's like with Terry and Lee Gunner on those on the like on the Talking Facts show. I think it's Talking Facts. But yeah, it's on that show where the amount of times that Terry and Lee look like they're about to have a fucking punch up on there, but they're all just like they're good pals after the fact. 100%. They're just pals after the fact, and that's just the way it is. And because nobody takes things to heart, nobody takes things personally. Everyone understands what it absolutely is at the end of the day, and everyone gets along, and it's it's happy days. Lovely Gunner, he is the reason I do what I do now, and the reason I've come into contact with awesome human beings. To be fair, it's also what is also the reason why I just started doing this as well. Like, I'd never really been too sure about starting to do content like this, because there's a lot of things where I feel like I'd love to talk about football, or do gaming streams, or do whatever, right? I do enjoy doing that and having conversations, because one thing where I have Asperger's syndrome, nah, that's fine, essentially, with me having Asperger's syndrome, talking to someone face to face is like, it can be a little bit stressful for me, because I've got to think about like the words that come into my mind, and that I've got to try and make it make as much sense as I possibly can, without sounding like I'm a fucking, you know, what, a Rubik's cube to someone who's colorblind. Like, I'd try very hard to make sure that I'm, very understandable. And talking in this context is something I've gotten used to, and it allows me to be quite a lot more fluent with my language, because usually having a speech and language impediment can be a bit of a nightmare. It can absolutely be a complete and utter nightmare. But being on here has allowed me to, if I'm talking a lot more frequently, it helps me to improve my communications. So I'm also doing this for a personal benefit of mine, because this is helping me out as much as it is doing something that I just genuinely enjoy doing, which is talking about football. So I'm combining a lot of different elements about it in my personal life as to why I do this and why I started doing it. But for a long time, I've never had the balls to start doing it. So just watching Lee Gunner and what he encourages other people to do, I just said, well, okay, then fuck it. Let's do it. Let's do it. Like, at the end of the day, I'm always going to get, like, no matter what I do, there's always going to be people that might hate what I do. And I'm yet to get the first hate comment. But I'm sure that when I get it, by the way I've drilled myself into, like, the way I think about things, I'm pretty sure that I'm going to read it, laugh at it, read it a second time, laugh even harder, read it a third time, close the application, and just carry on with my day. Is probably what's going to be what's going to happen by the time I get that first negative comment that tells me to go kick the bucket or something. But Palace looked good today, impressive. I have not seen the Crystal Palace result. I've not seen how they have done. I know they had their fucking mad end to the season where man started just free scoring. It was just like, you just couldn't stop. Crazy stuff. Just trying to find where the Crystal Palace there. Yeah, 2-0 win against Lyon. You absolute loser there. You go, don't say I'd ever do anything for you. Mate, I'm taking that comment, I'm posting it on my Twitter timeline, I'm cancelling you. I'm copywriting, striking every single one of your videos for an audio clip that was recorded decades and decades ago. Oh, I'm gonna get your channel taken off the internet now. Oh, fuck me. It'll probably be something along those lines. I mean, let's be real, but even so, it is what it is. I'll just continue to drink and laugh my merry way. Laugh my merry way to not caring about what someone's losing their shit, losing their rag with me. First 8 comment mission succeeded. Yeah, that will be framed literally on the edge of a trophy. You're going to have a little plate just sort of like drilled into the side of the base that says long-haired Yeti. First place prize of the first hate comment for a YouTube channel. Going to get that popped up on your setup and in the back of your streams, so people can see your accolades on your YouTube achievements, if you will. Stick that along with all the rest of your subscriber play buttons that you'll amass up over the years. I wonder what Lee Gunn's going to do when he hits 100k, and what he's going to do with that YouTube plaque. I'm just training you. You don't know ball. I don't know ball, but I know 2 balls that sit between my legs right now. Would you like to see them? Would you like me to whip my balls out the balls that I know all about on stream. Do you want me to do that? You know, I'll get this. I'll get the stream taken down real fucking quick. But at least I've myth busted your comment. Ah, Christ, crikey! I mean, Jesus. I'll tell you what. I mean, sometimes I assume that the first hate, like genuine hate comment that I will get, I'll like take it really personally or get offended by it. But then again, there's other times where I get hate from all other, like I've had hate before where I absolutely just laugh it off. Um, you failed that one. That comment could have come from a child. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Hold on. Hold on. Sorry. I have to do this, don't I? Right. You see what's been edited, right? I've have to, deflect some blame. You're offering to show your balls. Oh, bloody hell. I better get that taken off real quick before someone reports that. someone's making Jimmy Savile jokes on their stream. Oh Jesus, I didn't edit that. But even so, but you get where I'm coming from, right? It's just like someone wants to offend me. I'm wondering. I can see blue flashing lights out front of the house. I wonder what that's all about there. But anyways, we have gone on for an hour and 37 minutes. So I'm thinking it's probably fine time now to begin to wrap up the show. My voice is starting to get a little bit dry. My throat's getting a little bit dry. So, chatting for near 1.5 hours is no easy deal, especially when I've been using my voice box for 4 hours in a retail job. So, yeah, it's rough out here in the streets, but police are coming. Yes, they are. They are coming for me and everything I've got. Come to lock me up and throw away the key. The same way Top Gooners are coming after Lee Gunner to try and lock him up and throw away the key. But they can't be fucked to go out to Spain, even though it probably costs them a fiver to fly out on Ryanair. They just won't do it. They ain't got the balls. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles, you know. But anywho, and anyhow, I am going to be wrapping things up there. Big ups to everybody that has liked the stream. See if I've got any subscribers whilst I've been alive. No, I haven't gained any subs. Jesus. Clapped interaction. I'm finished. I'm absolutely finished. But anyways, I'm not really too fussed about going on to the mad increase of subscribers. It's whatever people feel like doing and what people feel like how they want to support the channel. It's a free platform as a content creator as well as a content consumer. It's all up to you how you want to choose to support the channel, but massively appreciate everyone who does so in whatever form it comes in, whether that be subscribing, whether that be liking the content, whether it be dropping into the live stream chats and chatting away, creating conversation. I see what you did there. I mean, I tell you what, if my channel starts sinking, then that's the first thing I can expect to happen. Is all my subs will start to implode. But anyhow, thankfully, I'm sat on an island of rock, so I'm not over waters. I'm not over stormy waters, so we're doing okay. But thank you ever so much, everybody, who has joined in, who's dropped in, tuned in. Massively appreciate the stream. It's been a fantastic time. Really enjoyed it. Big ups to everybody. Thank you very much, Yeti. Big ups to you. Make sure everybody else who watches this live on also on playback, go check out Yeti, Long-Haired Yeti's Cave YouTube channel. Go drop him a sub. Does content for Nottingham Forest as well as other things such as his ghost stories with Mama Flossie tomorrow 6 p.m. and also on Tuesday, not tomorrow, Monday. I think it's Monday that the ghost story stream is happening. And your Tuesday 6 p.m. same time, doing a Dungeons and Dragons stream with Jez from Arsenal History and more. So do be sure to go drop him a subscription and go check out his channel. Go watch his content. And as well as that, big ups to Carl Rossi. First time I've seen you in my chat. Big ups to you. Massively appreciate you dropping in. I've really enjoyed your company. And that's it from me for now. Thank you ever so much for watching, and we'll see you again real soon. Ciao for now.